We are at the beach. Well, technically, we're in Detroit. That's the first thing you think of, right? There's a shore. There's got to be a shore somewhere, not too far from downtown Detroit. There's a lake. Ben Rasa at Jazz Raz DFS. If there's a lake, there's a beach, my friend. If there's a lake, that means there's water. That means there's some sense of sand. And that means there's a beach. Mentally, I'm on vacation. Physically, I'm here with you. It's the last week of June. And we have the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit. We'll look back at the Travelers. How are you, sir?
I hate the beach. But I'm all right.
Is Travelers it the sun, the sand? Is it sand getting into stuff? Like, what is the number one thing you hate about the beach besides hitting into the beach?
So the number one thing I hate about the beach is I don't understand. It's a perfect way to start the show. What's up, everybody? I don't understand how the beach is an all day. Like, I would love to go to the beach for 45 minutes. You sit there, you read a little, you put your feet in the water, you throw the football around. I know people. It's like, all right, we're going to the beach. Yeah, we'll get there 9:15. We'll go stay to sundown. Like, no, that's not going to work. I'm not spending 9 hours in the sand just getting sun. Why would I want to do that? I do not understand that concept. Probably why my skin complexion is like Casper, because I'm not going to the beach for days on end. That's too crazy to me.
It's pretty fair. I thought you were going to be like, you get there, the sand everywhere. It's annoying, all this stuff. Like it's hot. But you're right. Like you can tolerate the beach. You just can't tolerate the beach for what is a normal time frame.
I've been to the beach where I've been fortunate enough, beach house, and like your house is right on the beach. That's great because you can go and then you say like, oh, I'm just going to run inside for a minute. Like you cool off.
Okay.
Blah, blah. But if you're at the beach and your car is a mile away, you got to trek it. It's windy. There's sand. It's such an ordeal. Fortunately, as you mentioned, the Rocket Mortgage Classic is not played on the beach.
Nope.
It's played in Detroit. We got to find a guy who's going to make 30 birdies because that seriously might be what it takes to win this week.
Yeah, I forget what tournament it was where we were a little off. I think you were like 16, 17 under. I was like 10 under. I think you were closer or nailed as far as the final score, what it should be. I'm 1,050% with you where this sucker, and we just saw a tournament, mind you, the Travelers that required you to score. And the same exact thing is going to happen here. So without a doubt. All right. With that said, anything you want to take away from the Travelers? I mean, we had a couple of names in there that were fighting. Who am I? I mean, that if Eric Cole is playing golf, he's going to make mention in this show. It's just a matter of when. JT, I mean, there were some good things that happened.
There were some good things. There was a lot of bad. It got better for me because it started so poorly. Morikawa shot an inexplicable round. I still don't know what happened. Took himself out of the tournament, tried to rally, couldn't even get inside the cut line. Justin Thomas, I picked up, and again, shout out if you want to follow us on Twitter, the handles are there. We're putting out content throughout the tournament on Twitter. I put out a little thread after 36 holes, and I added JT top 10 and top 20 to my card because I thought he played really well on Friday, and he continued that on the weekend. That really helped me. He was upwards of 6-1 there. And whatnot. I had no interest in Keegan. I was not going to get there. And I didn't expect it to play that easy. That really, really was just comical how insane you had to go. If you shot 4 or 5 under, you were losing to several guys each day. And that's kind of crazy.
You mentioned like he will not be on my card for a while. And I don't care if like this is one of these Finau tournaments where Colin Morikawa is the only guy in like the top 100 official golf world rankings. You just cannot look me in the eye and say that you are confident enough in this guy to put money on, especially even in a lighter field like we'll see here in Detroit. I can't do it anymore. Not for a little bit. I need to take a break. And you and I have both been high on Colin.
Oh, yeah, I've been betting him. Again, at Memorial, he had a real chance to win, and unfortunately, we never got to see what would have happened. So I'll be honest. It's annoying. It was frustrating. Colin Morikawa, I think, is fine. He played great he played tournament-winning golf on Friday. You can't shoot 3 or 4 over when the field is shooting 67 every day. That's just
Isn't
not
that a
going to work.
concern? But Ben, doesn't that speak, I think, look, from the withdrawal to the fact that he could not even take advantage of the easiest course we've seen in months, that doesn't jump out. And if it doesn't, that's fine. I just wanted to further it.
I mean, it jumps. I think it's all about expectations. And I think you're absolutely right. Collin Morikawa's expectations is majors and wins. Right. He's obviously got the, I mean, we saw it on Friday. That was a surgical round by him. But when you're that good, I mean, listen, Scotty Scheffler's kind of in a league of his own. But the thing that's so impressive about him, there's so many times when I short him and I think, oh, I got away with it. Scotty Scheffler's doing nothing. And I look up, and even when he doesn't have it, he finds a way to at least post something. And Morikawa right now, there's definitely some elements. His ball striking was off. So I'm not betting him this week. It's mostly because this board is these numbers are pretty rough this week because the field is much weaker.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. You're looking at the top right now. I mean, this is probably, there might be a couple of guys in here that could be construed as top, but this is pretty much it.
Ricky, what a world. Can you believe this?
You just can't bet him at 14-1, Ben.
How frustrating, and you can speak to this even more than me, and I'd be frustrated. And I think a lot of people out there will be frustrated. If Ricky wins this week, to not get paid off, how many times have we bet him in 2023 already?
I know. Okay, so you actually bring up something. I don't want to bog the show down with it, but real quick, because we're so much about volume, and that's what Odd Shopper is. That's why we have the Odd Shopper Premium tool. It just flash it here for you. There will be a link below if you're watching on Twitter. There's a link below. All of the good stuff, less than a cup of coffee a day, as Ben likes to remind you. All of that aside, and I set you up with all the good stuff to say, I might go off chart and put a small wager on Ricky just to avoid that feeling, because I do think, Ben, I think he does have like, this is his place. This is home. This is Detroit. This is Ricky's spot where we've seen him successful. The odds are ridiculous. You can't bet him, but I may life hedge. I may.
I mean, listen, the life hedge is the life hedge. That's an individual life choice. What I'll probably do with Ricky, I'm not going to bet him before the tournament. In a tournament like this with so many birdies, even if you start, kind of slow, you might get him 25-1 pretty quickly. Like, maybe you pick him up live. The only guy that I want to mention up top is Hideki. He was 20-1. He's dropped to 16-1. He played very, very well at Travelers. Wasn't really in the thick of it, but represented himself fine. I liked him quite a bit there. The irons are good. The putter is coming around here and there. And I know it seems, and I'll be the first to admit it, that Hideki is not built for a 23 under, 25 under win. He's a great hard course player. But I will say, Hideki's last win on tour was at the Sony Open, and he shot 23 under at a joke course. He can do it. It's not like he can't go low if he needs to. And I think he's a fine play this week.
Wow. So we start off 16-1 with Hideki. I agree with you. I mean, we already talked about Morikawa here, Max Homa. There's no real need. I don't think that it benefits you. Sungjae is always an interesting cat, I think, because he can adapt and he can definitely play depending on the course here. So I don't hate that. I mean, you are getting a pretty decent jump there. I don't want to bet on Keegan Bradley because I just don't know how much. It's one thing to look at the scoreboard there, but it's hard. Like, shooting 29 or 28 under is not easy, even on an easy course. All right, I'm going to start with distance and look at a guy in Cam Davis and know that there are some other things that need to happen, putting, right? But we've seen this, Ben, where you don't need to be long at Detroit, but if you are and you just want to grip and rip the shit out of the ball, the fairways are wide enough that you can get over that. Your distance can be a difference maker. You don't need it, but it can be. And I think Cam Davis then at 30-1 in this field, and I've jumped over two guys in Kim and him who I think you can talk about, but at 30-1, I'd take a look at Cam Davis.
Listen, Cam Davis, and this isn't, I'm not trying to gloss over this because it's all that matters. I like everything about Cam Davis, of course, from the course fit, which we've seen, to his profile, to his form is fine, good enough for me. I just don't like the number.
Yeah.
And there's just been some tough numbers this week. We're going to have to shop it. We'll do the best we can. You know, you look at his recent form and you see a couple missed cuts, but like the US Open and Memorial and stuff like that is so irrelevant to the Rocket Mortgage that I don't even care about that stuff. Like, we saw him win on this very track. I think Cam Davis makes a lot of sense, and he did close actually pretty favorably on Sunday at the Travelers.
You mentioned last year. I mean, the guy finished top 14, losing strokes on the green. Wasn't by a lot, but still. I mean, I love how you laid out fit, history that aren't always a big thing here, but can mitigate a course that may not transfer over. So at 30-1, it's probably not the best number. I understand, but at least a number, a name that I would throw out as we keep going here. You know, I don't want to miss the conversation with him because I think that there might be something to him. Although the number, I'm sure, is watered down here. But do you have any interest in Harris English at 40-1?
No, not because I hate to play.
Oh,
go ahead, please.
We talked about Ricky Fowler and the golf that he's been playing. Harris English is a top 10 machine as of recent.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Harris English, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. It's going to have to come with the putter. He top 10 at the U.S. Open. He gained 10 strokes putting. Somehow was great at Wells Fargo, which I really don't understand. Gained 5 strokes putting. He was second at API. He gained 8 strokes putting. He was 12th at Genesis. He gained 9 strokes putting. That's about all he's done this year, and it's all because of the putter. So I get it. I thought, to be honest, that you were going to bring up Ludwig Aberg, because to me,
I am.
He is the intoxicating name.
Yeah.
But man, 45, I know he's good. I know he's talented. But I was pretty stunned. I was hoping that we were going to see like 60-1, and there are some 50-1s out there, but that's about all you can find. I wouldn't touch 45. I think if you can find 50, you might want to do it. But man, a lot of love for a guy that's still, of course, very, very early in his career.
Look, I'll give you the one thing about Harris English, and while I will take him off, is I do need more consistency with putting. Meaning, if you come in and look, it's the Travelers, I get it, but he lost strokes there. You mentioned a couple of other spots, even at the Schwab, where it wasn't great. PGA was horrific. I need somebody who is consistently gaining stroke. I think that's a really under discussed maybe area to target. Would be somebody who is consistently gaining strokes with their putter, because it's such an easy place to score with your putter. But you're not going to turn it around. If you're struggling last 2 weeks with the putter, this isn't the place where you're just going to magically turn it around, but it does aid with that. Look, I love Aberg. We talked about him last week. Discord, shout out to those who followed. We got him on a beautiful, like, plus 180 or so, top 40 play. I think that top 20 is certainly in play for this guy. He is a smash fest out there. I mean, he is torching the ball. And we just talked about it. From tee to green, you can get away with being a little off, right? Off your tee shot, as long as you get it there. Second shot, you can be. The green is where it gets to be tricky for everybody, but you're right. I think last week was the time to jump on Aberg. This week, it's going to be a little tough with the numbers. Top 20 for me, I think, would be it.
He'll be on the card. I just don't know in what iteration. It's not going to be at 45-1 to win the tournament. Maybe it'll be a top 10, maybe it'll be a top 20. I hit him in matchups pretty hard. I had him against Cole, obviously, and he pushed because he bogeyed 17, which was quite frustrating.
Never go against my guy. Never go against the fan. Like, you could have made money. Cole was plus 190, top 40 last week.
It was fine.
What?
I'm not even going to get into my matchups from last week. I was up like 6 shots on Sunday on most of them, and I ended up losing the majority of them. I'll give a quick shout out to Alex Smalley. Again, I'm a broken record here. I think it's just the product of the environment. I don't love these numbers. Alex Smalley, he's gained on the approach in 10 straight events. That's no small feat. I mean, when you can do that, you're always putting yourself in the conversation. Corrales, Bermuda, some of these weaker events, he's shown that he's got some abilities there. So there are options in this range. I think it's just kind of identifying what do you value, what are you looking for, because depending on what that is, you're going to have a name that you feel pretty good about.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think Smalley, you laid out a really good argument there for Small. I mean, technically, this is the mid-range, right? Are we
Yeah,
not?
absolutely.
So if you want to look at where we are right now. Yeah, he actually
he's gained strokes putting in like 15 straight events or something. Yep. It's insane.
Poa, I mean, we're talking about Bent Poa, Donald Ross, where you have to putt. Top, he's actually popping. I mean, look, so is Harris English, though, in these same categories. That's why I brought him up, but you were down on Harris.
I am.
So we had to take him off the card. Okay, let me ask you this. If you just looked at the last 4 years, if you looked at the Rocket Mortgage and you look at the history of that, whoa, somebody moved. This may make some sense. Right? We talk about a fit. We talk about the course, the length, the distance, good drives off the tee, surviving distance and not making a ton of mistakes, finishing well at the Rocket Mortgage. He hasn't been playing exceptionally well because that's why he sits at 65-1 right now. But maybe this is, again, a situation where you work him in matchups and you work top 20s. But I just, there's something about history here with this type of course where despite his ability to bomb, we've seen Pendrith clearly putt and have success here as well.
So he definitely had success. It was only one start, but I get it. My biggest concern with Pendrith is before he played here in 2022 and came in second, which is obviously very, very encouraging. When you look at what he was doing, he had made 4 straight cuts and he was coming off 2 straight T13s. Really, really good. And now you fast forward to where he's coming in now. He's off 2 straight miscuts, nothing better than a 60th in his last 4 starts. So he's really going to have to battle his form. He was building up to a T2 last year here, and now he's starting from scratch because he has shown no form whatsoever of recent.
Yeah, the putting is probably going to be too much there.
He's just not playing well. He can listen. Guys can flip the switch. We've seen it time and time again. He just objectively is not playing his best golf.
Adam Shank.
What about Doug Gim?
Not bad. I think Brandon Wu at 80-1 too might look. I mean, Ches last week. I don't know if you're going to really bounce back on that. I think both of these guys actually make some sense. Brandon Wu, and you can talk more about Gim and expand on that. But if you're looking at guys that are scoring, par 5 scoring, driving distance, gaining strokes on the approach, limited as it may be with a history here. No, maybe not. No, wrong guy I'm looking at. Sorry, not Brandon Wu. You go ahead with Doug, and I'll give you my guy that I was building.
Sure, you're making mystery man. Listen, Doug Gim, a lot of people not that long ago was like a matter of if or when is Doug Gim gonna win? It's gonna happen. Then he kind of fell off the map. He lost his form completely in 2022. He missed, felt like dozens of cuts. Now he's starting to find it. 19th, 12th, and 15th the last 3 weeks. Tee to green, 8, 13, and 7 strokes gained. Really, really good numbers for him ball striking wise. Putter, not his friend, but again, he is, if you look at easy course splits, if you look at anything like that, Doug Gim jumps off the page. Where are you going? I see EVR on the screen. That can't be good.
I'm just showing the rest of the field as you're laying out Doug Gim and
Trevor Cohn is here. Well, I didn't factor that in. Yeah, I think that
there's nothing here. Just showing people how
Kelly Craft
low.
800-1.
Chad Collins.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
Would you take is there anybody else as we wind down here that we've missed? It's really hard, I think, to come to a conclusion about a guy who's got a shot that also makes sense. Taylor Moore, by the way, was the guy I was talking about.
Taylor Moore's obviously very legit. He's playing like garbage too. But we saw him, he's a winner. We've seen it. He's just playing not his best golf either.
No, but you're right. I'm not going to force much out of this.
Playing your best golf doesn't mean, I'm not going to say anything, but it doesn't mean that, like, what did Keegan Bradley do at the US Open last week? He missed the cut.
Right.
Like, what did he do the week before, last time he played there? He came in 30th in Memorial. Like, he wasn't exactly building to anything. He found it. He rolled it. He gained 7 strokes putting, and he won. So it can happen. It can happen.
Well, we'll be back after another week, this time in Detroit. We'll see. I'm going to life hedge Ricky, just so you know.
Well, that's...
I have no choice.
My last final thoughts before we bounce on out of here again. Odd Chopper Golf, if you are here, we're going to have all sorts of content. We want you subscribed. I say it every time, whether you're using 1 book or 2 books or 4 books, just make sure you're getting the best numbers. Of course, Bet365 is another book that's available. Colorado, New Jersey, Virginia, Ohio, Iowa. Iowa, yeah, good for them. Bet 1, get 200 in bet credits. The link is below. But regardless, it's just about maximizing your opportunities. Why wouldn't you say, if you're going to bet a guy at 60 and I say, well, I can get you 65, why wouldn't you take it? Why not? So just make sure you get the best numbers possible. Because on a week like this, there are a lot of guys, and we talk about this in our Discord, where, and this should be true of anything that you're betting, I would bet anyone at a certain price, and I would fade everyone at a certain price. It's just about where do they fall? Is it good enough to bet? And for a lot of these guys, I think they're pretty close to going either direction.
That's at JazzRazDFS, at Shander Show. Throw us a follow if you're not already, at Odd Shopper, of course. And as Ben mentioned, we have a ton of stuff from Bet365 to the Odd Shopper Premium tool, all there below for you. All right, my friend, I'll see you from the beach.
No, you won't find me on the beach. I'll be somewhere else. But good luck, friends. Enjoy, and we'll talk to you next week.